In this video, I'm doing an 800-mile overview of the 2023 KTM Duke 390. There's a few things I wish I would have known 800 miles ago. What are they? Well, stay tuned, we'll talk about it. So I want to get into the pros and cons of this bike, but before I do, I want to mention a few things I've noticed over the last 800 miles. First off, the bike's a blast to ride. It has plenty of power, plenty of torque, and combined with its lightweight makes for great handling, but there are a few drawbacks, and I'll mention those here in a minute in the cons section of this. But first, let's talk about this bike between 0 and 600 miles. So what I would like for you to know is between 0 and 600 miles, the bike is very restrictive. So, all bikes when they're new between maybe 0 to even 1,000 miles are going to be more restricted than after that because they're in their break-in period. But this bike, especially with the fact that the factory has a low rev limit set until around 625 miles, that in combination to everything feeling so tight, it just it was kind of lacking for me in the power area. I really was expecting more, but I'm happy to report at around 550 miles the bike really starts to loosen up. You'll perform the first service at 600 miles, and then at 625 miles the low rev limit set by the factory for the break-in period falls off. And around this point is when the bike really starts to open up. It becomes much more aggressive and much more fun to ride. Speaking of aggressive, this is a great time to get into some of the pros. So what probably brought you to this bike in the first place is its aggressive appearance. With that exposed trellis frame, it is definitely eye-catching, and it's one of the best looking bikes in the entry-level bike category. You just can't miss it. They look great, they turn heads. Looking at the bike from the front, it has a very nice edgy lighting that it's a LED headlamp, and it provides plenty of light at night. When you first turn the switch on, it has a cool feature where the outside edge of the light glows. You almost want to turn the switch on, especially if it's dark, and sit there for a couple of seconds just so you can look at it. But another thing that you'll notice while riding at night is it has backlit switchgear. Now that's a cool feature for a bike in this price range because it gives it a very premium feel. So if you don't know what I mean by that is all the switches on the handlebars are all glow. They're all backlit so you can see them better. You'll probably appreciate the adjustable levers. So the clutch and brake lever are both adjustable, so that you can make it where it will fit your hand size better, and that brake lever controls those high quality Bybre brakes. So if you don't know what those are, that's Bybre. So they're a very high quality brake system, and I do appreciate that. After your braking period, you definitely notice that the bike has great stopping. So let's talk about the dash. So the instrument cluster, it's all digital, it's easy to read, it's somewhat easy to navigate. You can connect your phone to it if you choose. I don't find that very useful myself. I'd rather use a RAM mount or something like that to hold my phone on the handlebars, but you can if you choose to. So all of these things, with it being lightweight, a powerful engine, it makes for a very fun ride. But with all good things, there's also going to be some bad things. So let's get into the cons. So most of all the cons for me are in the comfort area. So first off, the engine produces a lot of heat. So if you're in stop and go traffic, or maybe you're doing some slow maneuvers in a parking lot, or maybe you're stunting, that electric fan will kick on to cool the engine, and you'll just feel a ton of heat radiating upwards, and it's just not very comfortable, especially on a hot summer day. Now, speaking of comfort, the stock seat is, well, terrible. They do offer a premium seat as an upgrade, and you can get that through KTM, and I think there are also some aftermarket seats available out there. But just know the stock seat is no good for long commutes. And another thing, if you plan on doing long commutes, just know that this bike has higher foot pegs. So that's great for spirited riding because it gives you more ground clearance. But for long distance riding, it puts your legs in a more cramped position. And I'm not a tall guy, but after doing about a 90-mile commute one day, I noticed that my butt and my legs were killing me. So speaking of commuting, it's also not great on the interstate. Now, it can do interstate speeds. You can see that in my video here, but it's still not home on the interstate. Even though it can do it, doesn't mean it should do it. If you've got a short distance on the interstate, maybe 5 miles or less, go for it. It can handle it. But anything much more than that, it's just not comfortable. Well, one of the reasons is that even though you're in 6th gear, it feels like there needs to be another gear. At around 70 to 75 miles an hour, you're turning about 6,500 RPMs, and you're still good there. You have enough torque, you could pass a car if you need to, but as soon as you let off the throttle, the amount of engine braking slows you back down so quickly. So if you push it on up to around 80 or so, you're about out of juice. Now, it can go faster than that, but if you need to pass a car or something, you feel like the bike is kind of used up at that point. My last thing, I guess, would be vibration. So these single-cylinder engines are also known as thumpers, and that's for a reason. I mean, they have a bit of a vibration at slower speeds, and at higher speeds, it's kind of a buzziness in the handlebars. But for me, it's not a deal breaker because I honestly think it adds a bit of character to the bike. I don't mind it myself, but it is something you would want to know about. It may turn some of you off. So, very last thing, price. And not necessarily the price of the bike, but the price of ownership of the bike. I was a little disappointed to find out that this bike is kind of expensive to insure and maintain. So for this first oil change, if you do it all yourself, you're looking at least $75. If you have it done through a dealership, you're probably looking at over $200. But not only that, the insurance cost is that more along the lines of a full-size bike than one that's in the entry-level category. And I don't know why exactly, but everything is more expensive. Now, it doesn't compare to a Honda Grom. Obviously, it's not in the same category, but I also own 2 Honda Groms, and I can insure and maintain 2 Honda Groms cheaper than I can insure or do the maintenance on just this bike. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. So speaking of price, so if this is year 2024 when you're watching this, you may still be able to find a brand new 2023 still on the showroom floor. Now, why would you want a 23 and not a 24? Well, you may not. The 24 is completely redesigned, but with that comes a much more expensive price. In comparison, I was able to get this 390 Duke for around $5,400 out the door, when in comparison, the 2024 model was $6,700 out the door. Now, I know, yes, it does have some more premium features and it's the newest, latest, greatest, but for me, the 2023, it fit my needs just fine, and for that amount of savings, you couldn't beat it. So my final thoughts and overall opinion is this: it's a fantastic entry-level bike. It's fun, it's powerful, it's stylish, it's maneuverable, it's lightweight, but be sure to consider the fact that it has some comfort issues. It has some higher cost of ownership, such as the maintenance and insurance, and it has some limitations when it comes to interstates. So if you take all that in consideration and you still think this is the bike for you, then you're going to be thrilled, because it is a great bike, whether it's your first bike or you're wanting a bike to learn to stunt on. That's another thing that I think it would be great for. It has plenty of torque, and there's all kinds of aftermarket accessories to make it better in that category. But if you've stuck around till now, be sure to give me a like, subscribe, and I'll be sure to see you on the next one. Thanks.